Hi, I'm Nikki, the Obsessive Bookseller. Welcome to my TBR for February 2023. This is one of my favorite videos to film. I love picking out new books to read and figuring out what's going to be on the lineup for the next month. I remember mentioning in my last TBR that I wanted to focus on only like a set amount of series at a time, and I've actually been maintaining that through this entire month. So I've got currently Faithful and the Fallen. I want to continue Jade Legacy. I want to do the Coward series by Stephen Arion. I have one slot for finishing out series like final books in series or things that would get me up to date in the series. And then I've got one slot for projects because I have book clubs and I've got Readburn Horde and I've got Project Sci-Fi and a whole bunch of things that need a spot, but I can't integrate them into the like regular set of slots. Whatever, anyway, spoiler to what's coming in the video. But highest priority continues to be Faithful and the Fallen. I am a good bit away into Ruin by John Gwynne. It's carryover from last month. I am loving this series. I don't have anything negative to say about it. There's not a single thing in here that I think isn't being done well, if not superbly. This author is just on point on every single aspect of it, from the pacing to the character development to the story components to the interesting like dynamics of all these characters in this series. And I feel like the momentum is really good. It's going somewhere meaningful, and I'm just sitting back and enjoying the ride. I'm loving it. Loving it. And yes, I finally did pick it up after stalling on it for several months because it is not a casual read. It's one that you really have to be willing to be enmeshed in, but you also have to brace yourself a little bit because you're gonna get your gut punched. I mean, even within the first couple chapters, I got my gut punched. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm ready. Anyway, loving this one. It continues to be my high priority for the month. I don't think I'll be picking up Wrath, the fourth book in the series, by the end of the month. I've got too much on my plate, but probably by February. Yes, loving this. For Patreon Book Club, we are picking up The Wolf by Leo Carew. There's been a lot of buzz about this one on BookTube, but I've had it on my radar since Leanna talked about it ages ago on her channel. And she did this video about a year ago about her top favorite fantasy series. And I had read everything on her list except for two of them. And one of them was The Wolf. And the way she described all of the other series that I also loved, particularly her thoughts on Name of the Wind, I thought it was just profound. She put into words in a way that I never could have. I loved her review on that in there. And then she talks about The Wolf. And she describes this book in a way that makes me think, yeah, that is totally up my alley. Everything she loved about this book, I think I will too. So it's been on my radar since then. It got picked for Patreon Book Club, and I am so excited to give it a shot. I'm expecting minimal fantasy components, which lately I've been more and more okay with that. I don't mind it as long as there's other dynamics. I really like military aspects and things, and this one I think is a little more indigenous, but that's okay. So I'm hoping for good atmosphere, good characters, interesting story. Can't wait. But December's book club, we read The Coward, so now I would like to continue this month with The Warrior. There was this one non-human character in that book who I just found so fascinating, want to know more about her, and I've been told that this one really expands on her culture, and I can't wait. And what's more, this will be wrapping up a series, because it's only a duology, and so it's a quick win. Very excited for this one. I am a huge fan of this teal cover. I think it is so pretty. This is actually in my to be hauled pile. I haven't filmed the video yet because I don't have quite enough titles yet, but yeah, spoiler alert, I bought myself a copy. Per my Project A to Z, I'm sure I will be picking up Half a World by Joe Abercrombie. It's the second book in the Shattered Sea series, and I'm reading this one like 1 or 2 chapters a day just to kind of gradually progress, and I'm sure it will get extensive coverage in that feature, so I won't go into more detail here. Per my finishing out series, I would like to finally read Fury of a Demon by Brian Naslund. I probably would have already consumed this one, but the first 2 are available in audio, which are much easier to integrate into my schedule, and for whatever reason, this one is only available in print and ebook format. I hate it when they do that. But it's a good series, I'm liking it. The trajectory of the second book kind of jumped the sharky a bit for me, but it won't be a bad thing if they can figure out how to tie it all in together in this one. Really good action scenes. This author is good at momentum. He's unconventional. And I like his characters. They're fun. He talks about defecating a lot. But other than that, I like his books. Yes, but I would really like to finish this series out. The covers are atrocious, but it's really cool. I like the atmosphere in it. It has something to do with dragons. They're really not central to the plot, even though they are integral to the plot, but there's not a lot of scenes with them. So whatever. I mean, the characters are good enough to pull the story on its own. And we shall see. Whether I'm recommending it to you will depend largely on how this final book goes. But yeah, hoping to spend a lot of my physical reading time this month on this one. And if I finish that one, I would like to pick up Demons of Good and Evil by Kim Harrison. It's the next book in the Hollow series that comes out in the summer. And I've requested an ARC, so I gotta read it sooner than later. I keep carrying this one along because I know I have plenty of time to read it, so I'm not in any hurry. But I did that last year with this series. I picked it up in December and then barely made the cut in July when it finally did came out. Oh, can't talk. When it finally did come out. So I am definitely going to pick that one up after I finish this one because I gotta get to it. I don't want to be one of those last minute readers. It drives me crazy because then you feel like you have to read it and it takes away all the enjoyment. Diatribe over. My patron Felipe and I are going to read Elder Race together. I love Tchaikovsky. I know nothing about it, which I kind of like. I want to go into most of Tchaikovsky's books blind. And then a nonfiction pick. The bookish Chaz and I are going to buddy read Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. This will be my third read of this book. I find once a year it's really good to refresh myself on some of the content in this book because I can maintain my good new strategies for a while, but I find myself starting to slip into old habits, and it's really good to have a refresher. It helps me reestablish my convictions on why I'm choosing to engage in some digital content and not others. And I have found myself back on Facebook every once in a while. Like I posted my end of year best reads on Facebook for my friends. It's the only video I post on there. And of course it draws you back there. You're like, oh, what did they think about the video? Do they like my stuff? You know, it's that vicious cycle of social media, like that dopamine hit that's so hard to get away from. Anyway, I could use a refresher. I could use just restructuring how I'm doing things because I have so many things going on, so many things that I want to do. And I always say I don't have time for them. But then I look at my screen time. And it is more difficult because I am a content creator and everything I do on my phone. So it's hard to tell how much of that is work and how much of that is just popping up to see like what kind of comments have come in lately. But I will give myself credit. It's been the whole weekend and I haven't allowed myself to check comments. Brilliant, right? 2 days. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to reading this with Chaz. He and I share a lot of similar philosophies on things with like minimalism and trying to get the most out of life, essentially. So that'll be fun. And that's all I'm scheduling in officially. And that's a pretty good lineup. I got a lot of page count to get through this month if I want to pick up anything else. But I'm really happy. Everything that I'm reading is part of my strategy. I'm focusing on the best books first. And it's making me feel like I can really enmesh into buddy reads without feeling stressed to get to them. Because I'm only scheduling buddy reads for the books that are really high up on my priority list. I'm finally figuring it out. I'm really enjoying what I've got going on. So I want to know, what books are you looking forward to this month? Thanks so much for joining, and I hope to catch you next time. Bye.